Mr. Mercaldo presents a virtual field trip including nurse sharks, swimming pigs, iguanas, and more. Mr. Dave Mercaldo presents a virtual field trip to Exuma in the Bahamas. Didn't you ever wish you could have met some of the characters from your books? Well, I recently did on vacation. Come check it out. Here I am on the boat in the Bahamas to Exuma Beach, and then the next stop is going to be at Compass Cay, where I get to meet pet nurse sharks. There they are, the nurse sharks. They're not as scary as they look. They're actually pretty docile, the nurse sharks. They let you pet them kind of like my golden retriever dog does.
Paul?
And one of them I actually got really friendly with.
Hey.
And then this shark kind of came up and bumped me, but we were cool. So these nurse sharks are not that threatening to humans, as you can see. They often like to go to the same location to rest, and they can eat food off the ground like a vacuum cleaner. So this was my favorite shark. I never really gave him a name, but he felt like leather, but he was so friendly. He kept coming up and hanging out with me, and at the end I got to even pick him up and hold him. Welcome back to Learning with Mr. Mercaldo, Bahamas edition. The famous swimming pigs of the Bahamas are found on Big Major Cay, also known as Pig Beach, in the Exumas. The only way to get here is by taking a private motorboat. Tours are offered from the Bahamas. No one knows for sure how the pigs got here. They are not native to the island, so they must have been brought by ship. These pigs love to eat bread and carrots. Okay, here I am feeding some pigs carrots. I'm throwing the carrots to him to try to get him to swim over to me, because I wanted to swim with him. Oh, there, he ate a carrot right out of my hand. I patted him on his head. Now I'm gonna try to take a little swim with him. Yeah, there I am swimming with a pig. There he is chowing down on the carrot. I was really having a great time feeding this pig carrots. You have to be careful though. If you run out of carrots, they might try to eat your hands, so you gotta put your hands up. Well, that's all. See you next time on Learning with Mr. Mercaldo. Okay, for my third stop, I'm gonna be feeding iguanas. So there is the beach where the iguanas live. And you can see there's people already there feeding them. So the Bahamas is home to a lot of different species of iguanas that don't live anywhere else. Iguanas have a diet of fruit, leaves, and flowers. What I learned on this trip was they also love to eat grapes. So they instructed me to put a grape on the end of a stick and to have the iguana eat the grape off the stick like he just did there. You saw that? He just ate the grape off the stick. So they say when you're putting the grape on the stick, use the stick instead of your fingers so they don't bite your finger. And they also said to hide your toes in the sand so they don't accidentally mistaken your toe for a grape. It was fun feeding the iguanas. So the next thing I saw was one of the most famous and notorious criminals, Pablo Escobar's sunken plane. They say they were using the plane to transport some illegal contraband across the Bahamas and into the United States when it crashed. And they just left it there for people to snorkel and explore. I hope to go back there again and snorkel around that plane. So the final stop for this trip to the Bahamas is going to be the dig at Atlantis, Paradise Island. So as I enter the dig, I look around and it feels like I'm in some kind of Indiana Jones with all the artifacts and different things on the walls. So I begin walking down the hall, and it's like I'm underground. And there's some kind of symbol at the end of the hallway, but then I notice there's water on the ceiling and on the sides. So I look up, and what do I see on the ceiling? Spiny Caribbean lobsters, all on the ceiling and on the side. These lobsters are nocturnal. They molt and lose their shells. They migrate in single file lines, and they're popular for their tail meat, not their claws. They don't have big claws like the ones in the north. Alright viewers, we are here at the dig in Atlantis, home to some really massive aquariums and giant tanks full of fish and all kinds of sea life. So I'm excited to see what we have to find. Also on the wall here, you can see something that looks like hieroglyphics. So let's go over here in the other room and see if we can find any more clues. It looks like there's a whole wall covered in hieroglyphic writing. So hieroglyphic writing was popularized by the ancient Egyptians, a form of pictorial writing where they use these symbols and images and pictures to represent words. and tell a story. This particular hieroglyphics are telling the story of the lost city of Atlantis. Oh, and then we see a starfish, and it looks like a horseshoe crab, which is prehistoric creatures. Then I saw a bunch of jellyfish that light up in the dark, and they naturally do light up. I wasn't sure the exact species of jellyfish these were, though. If you are able to identify this species of jellyfish, please let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know. And then there was many different types of fish as I continued my journey through the dig at Atlantis. I saw a trident, I saw more artifacts, and then I came across these very large grouper fish. So the Atlantic Goliath grouper may grow as long as 8 feet and can weigh nearly 800 pounds. Once it gets full grown, it doesn't have many predators. Alright, let me speed this up a little bit as we just walk through a few more artifacts and turn the corner to take a look at another view of the large fish tanks. So the next animal I was excited about seeing was the southern stingray. So these stingrays have electroreceptors on their snout and have an excellent sense of smell and touch. What else is cool I noticed is that when he comes back around here, I saw him with a school of fish that seem to have some kind of symbiotic relationship where they might be eating the food off the top while the stingray eats the food off the bottom. Speaking of symbiotic relationships, check out this clownfish and sea anemone. The clownfish secretes a special mucus that protects it from the sea anemone's tentacle stings. In return for a safe and protective home, the clownfish benefits the sea anemone by cleaning the anemone, providing nutrients in the form of waste, and scaring away predatory fish. So out of the 1,000 species of sea anemone, only 10 species of sea anemone are compatible with 26 species of clownfish. And not every species is compatible with each clownfish. Alright, so moving on, I come to a room with a big hole in the center, but around the edges are these creepy costumes that represent some kind of soldiers of Atlantis. Ooh, this place is getting a little bit eerie, so let me continue back to the tanks and try to look for more species of fish and see if we can find any bigger fish. There's so many different fish, I wasn't able to identify all the species, but I was able to get some really close looks. Hey fish, hey fishy right there, so close. Alright, so if there's fish, there's also sharks. There's actually a shark right behind me. That long tail fin, I'm not exactly sure which species of shark that was. But let's keep searching for some species we might be able to identify. Okay. Oh, there is a shark I recognize, the Caribbean reef shark. These sharks do not typically attack humans, and there's never been a death by a Caribbean reef shark recorded. But it is one of the largest and most sophisticated predators in the reef ecosystem, and it's the most abundant shark in the Caribbean. Interestingly, the Caribbean reef sharks in the Yucatan Peninsula have parasites attached to them, and when the parasites let go of them, it feels so good that they kind of black out and appear like they're sleeping, but they're actually in a euphoric state. Well, there's one more close encounter with the big fish. Well, I really had a great time exploring the dig at Atlantis, and it's about time for me to make my exit. I highly recommend visiting the Bahamas and seeing some of the sea life for yourself. And I hope you enjoyed the trip as much as I did. I was glad to include you in the form of this virtual field trip. Please remember to like and subscribe to Dave Mercaldo on YouTube. And let me know in the comments on Instagram at Learning with Mr. Mercaldo. Take care, bye.